Welcome to the artthou show live. My name is Hege Haraldsen, and the truth is that no one recommends anyone to become an artist. It just doesn't happen, does it? And if you do choose to go that way of profession and say you're at a social gathering or you say a dinner party at someone's house, and a natural course of the conversation will be, well, what do you do? And then you tell them what you do. And immediately you will see on the face, the blood just drains from their face and they're thinking, oh my God, who is this person? And they think, well, and then they start asking questions, well, don't you enjoy eating? Don't you want to have a family? Don't you want to buy an apartment or a house or a car? And while they do that, they have like this little smile on their face, a little like, poor you. Like, what childhood trauma did you go through? And they have that little smile that's sort of, they're wondering also, well, what kind of lunatic did I just invite to my dinner party? And they have this automatic thought that you're doomed, that you will die a poor artist, drunk on a bed of nothing but broken dreams and bitter failure. Tormented artist, poor you. So what is it about creatives that automatically makes people think that, or they get really nervous about your mental health? There's a reputation that creatives have that you're an alcoholic, manic, depressive. It's true. And creative people also have the reputation of being enormously mentally unstable. This stereotype or society's belief about creatives hinders a lot of people from pursuing a career within the arts. I know that because I did that. I went off to study commercial photography rather than fine arts because I wanted a degree, which meant a job, which meant a stable income. And that's what I got, right? Yeah, right. So I quit that and I started in the oil and gas industry, which was nice. Suddenly I had money. I went to the dealership. I was able to buy myself a brand new car. I bought an apartment, got a house, an old house, still a house. But wow, the terrible feeling of getting up in the morning and heading off to a corporate job, it's not a good feeling at all. So imagine people's faces when I then told them that I'm leaving this job. I'm leaving this fancy, well-paid, secure job to redo my van, make the back into a talk show studio, and I'm going to drive around Europe interviewing other visual artists. I highly recommend it. It's very amusing. It's very amusing. Ideas come from network. A network inside your brain, things that connect together that hasn't necessarily connected before. Very much how we socially network. So what if we spend more time connecting, sharing ideas, sharing mistakes, sharing our knowledge and our experiences, rather than protecting them? Imagine then what we could create. I think it's better to encourage creative minds to live, create a community, one that is genuinely inclusive, that people feel that they're a part of. The goal is to make you realize that you're capable of things, or you're more able to go beyond society's expectations. You know in your heart what you should do. So tune into this thing that you were put on this earth to do. You know what makes you feel good, And if you don't write your own script, someone else will write it for you. That's for sure. If we as artists want to change, we need to be the change. We need to change our attitude, the way we speak, the way we think about our art. Any professional of any trade knows that there's more to selling your product than simply to create it. They know that it takes more than a year, more than 2 years, to develop a reputation and a client base. A professional knows it's important to honor their creative productivity, as well as working hard on their marketing, their networking, their replying to inquiries. So it's not all butterflies and rainbows. Whoever told you that was lying. See, I love art more than I hate failing at art. So whether you just heard about me today or you've been following my journey with artthou, I'm really excited to be on this journey with all of you guys. And with that, let's bring our artists to the stage. So welcome Emma-Leone Palmer. Christophe Siel. Benetton, and beyond from Karski and beyond. And welcome to Stavanger, Norway.
Thank you.
And welcome to Rogaland Art Center.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And first of all, I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. Clarion Hotel Energy, which are sponsoring our artists with their accommodation. We have Vaux's Rammeverksted, who are providing us frames for the exhibition that we're going to have this weekend. And of course, Rogaland Art Center was providing us with this wonderful space to do this live talk show. And Stavanger Kommune. And we also have a handful of private sponsors who sponsored us with their boat houses so we can have this exhibition.
Nice.
So thank you to all of our sponsors.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for coming. That's really nice.
Yeah.
And thank you for everybody watching our live streaming on Facebook or Instagram. So you heard our introduction. So I was wondering if maybe we can start with you, Emma. Have you had any strange comments or remarks about your profession?
I think you're right. You say you're an artist, and often people look baffled at you and kind of go. Part of them, I think, wants to be you, and part of them thinks, "Oh my goodness, I'm really glad that I've got my secure job and mortgage and fancy car." I think it's a bit of both. I just don't think they know what to make of you. Full stop.
Yeah.
I think they want to discover more, and it's always a curious start of a conversation. What do you guys think?
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not usual, but if you know how to be social as well, they're kind of baffled as well, because as you said, a lot of those stigmas are true, artists are all out there, but I think if you're just a bit social, then I think you can get away with it, and just talk your case and be happy about your work, then I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's manic depressives everywhere, isn't it? They're not all artists. They are in every profession.
Yeah. Huh? I think a lot of people think that artists sort of swim around in purple smocks in this magical universe and live off fresh air and paint.
Right.
When they actually meet you and realise that, you have your rents to pay and your car insurances and X, Y, and Z, and actually you're a very self-driven, motivated person. They're actually, look at you in a different way. And they realise that you're a normal person too. You're just following a dream, which maybe they had their dream that maybe they haven't done. Or I like to think that we inspire people who aren't artists as well to maybe do something that they want to do with their lives.
Yeah.
I think it's scary for people to take that freedom and be unsure and to do it yourself. I had some typical remarks of very close friends that after a year said, "Are you ever going to get a mature job? Or are you really going to pursue this? Is this
Are you
a
going to
joke?"
grow up? Yeah. And in your case, because you started from graffiti, that is very stigmatized. In addition, that's,
Yeah.
not just an artist, but graffiti.
Yeah, so it goes from vandal to artist. It's a long way. People look, okay, this is, you had your fun, but are you really think this is a job?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you have to take that freedom, and yeah, if you see your destination, it might be unsure and might be scary at some points, but
Take the risk.
yeah,
then,
you're taking a risk. But I would take the risk any day over a 9-to-5 job and spend my week looking forward to the weekend and maybe drink in the weekend a lot.
And you, Laura, we've spoken a little bit before because you have a little daughter and you experience a lot of stigmatization to, you know, your career and your family life.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not easy. Just like sometimes you have the feeling that every day you're like fighting with the world, thinking, okay, you're an artist, you have a 5-year-old daughter, and then, okay, you don't have a full-time job, so how you think you're gonna pay all your parents? Like, oh, excuse me. It was like, I first was just studying all my life, and then I accepted what I am. It's just like, this is what I am, this is what I do, this is what I try to do the best every day, and I keep that vision, and stick on that vision until the end of the day, which means that I know that I've got responsibilities, especially because I have a daughter, and then the more I'm going to be in the studio 6-hour days and try to take the best and to do my best. Sometimes it's difficult. Everything is difficult. Just 9-to-5 job is difficult. Yeah. So sometimes it's hard, especially because physically sometimes I'm just, I don't know, I'm tired like everybody. But yeah, it motivated. It's like, I have a lot of motivation, and then when I see my daughter, it's like, oh, mommy, I want to be an artist. And she's like, okay.
Role model status.
I love some of the shots I see that Laura takes, and she's painting into the night, you know, on what you've taken the work back to the flat or whatever, and you're painting on the floor, and her daughter is there as well with her, and you know, that's brilliant. That's great.
Do you think it motivates you more to have that extra responsibility?
Yeah, definitely. I just found out actually recently is just seeing from, you know, her eyes, the way she looks at me, it does make me feel like, okay, I have to keep on this. Very so, and I think that it's helping me to motivate other mothers as well. Just try to, you can dream, you can think about yourself in another light. You don't have to think, okay, now because I have a family, because I have kids, it means that, okay, I have to pursue another, you know, career. You have to face the practical problem because there are practical things. You have to juggling. You have to work more, maybe, but there's always a way. I think. I think it depends on from you and how much you believe in what you do, and if you really believe in what you do, I think that you can face any obstacles in life.
Yeah.
Because all of you four are now full-time artists.
Yes.
So to get a better understanding of people that want to be full-time artists, but they're finding it like they're on their way there, but they have to juggle other things. Can you please talk a little bit about what you did before you became a full-time artist?
Quite easily working 6 days a week, commuting 1,000 miles a month. Fun. Also, I think people don't realise is being an artist is not just the actual creating of the work. You're a small business owner. You're doing your accounts. You're doing your project planning. You might be trying to get funding. You might be coordinating photographers, paint suppliers. I don't know. Give us other examples. Social media, logistics. You're updating your website. You're building your website. There's
trying to keep your drinking down.
Yeah, trying to keep your drinking down, and also squeezing in a little bit of a social life and maybe some exercise. You really are doing multitasking on so many different things. Plus, you might be running a second job to pay for the rents that you have with studios and the cost of materials. So it's actually a huge amount of dedication. You guys out there who are trying to do this, just keep going. Just be bloody minded. Just keep going. That's it. Just keep believing, keep going. Your energy will transfer into the work and it will come out and you'll get there along the way. But just remember to enjoy the journey. It's not just that there is no end game here. There is no I have made it as an artist. You're just always exploring.
No pensions. No.
Yeah. And
Even the even
Pension,
the
what's
milestones.
that?
The milestones.
I think you need there's no goal, but there are milestones along the way.
Yeah, but even those are hard to see sometimes because you're so into everything that's happening, you know. So
Definitely.
so you sometimes just keep going. And
Just keep going.
Yeah.
And I was discussing earlier with Laura, what was a really handy thing for me is every year or 6 months or whatever you need, write a list of the things that you've achieved, even if it's just an email inquiry. Because when you're feeling down and trust, you go through these things, you can look back and go, actually, I've achieved all these things. It's keeping your self-motivation alive, which is really hard when you've got a world around you which is so materialistic and consumeristic and keeping up with the Joneses. You know, you've got to keep on this plan of yours, and you'll get there. Just keep at it.
It's hard to keep your motivation up every day. If you're doing it alone, you have to go to your studio. But actually, you don't have to be there because there's no boss that's gonna say like it's 9:05.
Which actually could make it even harder. Yeah. But you are in a duo.
Yeah.
You are with Karski. Karski we interviewed in the van. So now it's the first time we have Beyond here. We were happy to have Beyond here.
Thank you.
Karski was meant to.
Karski.
Yeah, he was meant to be here. Hello, if you're watching. Karski is with Beyond, and they are a street art duo. And over the weekend, he did a job where he was standing on a ladder painting, and he fell down and broke his thumb. Tore up all his muscles in his thumb. So he had surgery today, so he's coming tomorrow.
So that's dedication, right?
Unstoppable.
Yeah, unstoppable.
So we're still gonna paint. So.
Still gonna paint. But we're very happy to have you here. But what made you two go together?
Yeah, well, it's a good point you mentioned it because we're working now for almost 3 years together, and it's really boosting my motivation. You're boosting each other all the time, and you're calling each other like, hey, I got this, I got this. You're sharing jobs. You got twice as much as jobs all of a sudden. You can do much more work. You can spread the work. One do this, one do that, and it works perfectly. It works much better. You might run into things. You might have another idea about things.
Yeah.
But in the end, when you're painting a big job, you feel really good. And we have the privilege to see the world now. So we are traveling all the time.
Yeah, how many times a month did you say? 3 to 4 times a month at least?
Yeah, like 2, 3 times a month now since I think March is going crazy.
Yeah.
So my passport is getting stamped a lot now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And yes, it's an experience and it's adventure.
Do you guys also paint on canvas together, or?
We are starting to work in the studio now because we're doing large scale murals like 100, 200, 300 square meters. And our biggest thing was a project of Karski of 3,500 square meters, which was the biggest mural of the world at that time.
Oh shit!
And now we get so much demand of people saying we want a piece of that. So you have to get in the studio, and for me that's it's kind of a new thing. My background was graphic design, which I dropped really fast because the clients are not my people. But I have to adapt now again. So I have acrylics, I have oils. I'm starting to experiment with everything, and I'm a lot into that. But I'm an expert in spray paint, so I can't drop that.
Yeah.
And well, it's the adventure is far from over. We're moving.
And you're from graphic design too, right? Yeah, that's why you nodded. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel the same. You know, the clients, goddamn, because you're not even interested in the work you're doing when you're doing graphic design. You know, it's not you. You're just doing what they're telling you. And
you're gonna do a proposal, and the first one for sure will be the best.
Yeah, but they don't like it.
They will ask for 10 more, and after a month they say maybe the first one was the best.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It has to be finished yesterday.
And Laura, you did teaching, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in teaching. Yeah, I was in teaching, art teaching, early years teacher coordinator. Yeah, I love sharing knowledge. I can't keep everything for me. I just need to share with people. I need to share with people, and and I love teaching, but at the same time, I think that's art. And
But even before teaching, you had a very interesting life.
oh my God, yeah.
Do you want to share or no?
Okay, where do you want to start? On my lap. I get embarrassed now.
I mean, you traveled a bit, but you traveled in some interesting ways.
Yeah, I travel a lot, and one of the most interesting part of my life, I was living in Istanbul for a year. I was in relationship with an acrobat of the circus at that time, and then I was painting. It was really interesting. I found Istanbul a really inspiring place, so it's a little bit sad now for me what is happening now in the past years as well. And then had an amazing experience. I was in a boat for 3 months. I was working in a boat, trying to live with the sea, the stars, and then I was thinking, okay, I'm going to live in houseboats.
Did you paint there as well? Up and down?
Sketching a lot. And that was really inspiring.
Yeah, right. A lot of blue, I guess you used.
Yeah, sometimes no. But it's my favorite color, and there's like a problem now because I'm sticking blue.
Okay.
But not for the painting that I'm showing in Stavanger, which I think that something is happening.
Yeah, it's a break. It's different from
something
your
is
earlier.
There's some purple.
We're so lucky. Laura sold out all her paintings. So she, in the last couple of weeks, she's been in Italy creating brand new ones for our show. So this is the first time anyone's gonna see them, and it's gonna be showcase. Yeah, we spoke a little bit, like touched on the subject in the car earlier today when we were driving around Stavanger, about like how art, if the world goes down, art is the first time, it's disposable. It's the first thing that people get rid of because it doesn't do anything. It's not practical. It doesn't feed you.
But still, we can think in creative ways that maybe other people can't, you know, or see things in a different way, like survive in a different way if that was the case, right? You know, so I think you can still be handy in those situations.
Yeah.
But I also think that a lot of stuff that you guys do, where you color buildings, you know, because a lot of times cities are just grey, and you have this kind of, well, today's been nice, but usually it's grey and stuff, you know. And it's nice to add a bit of color to the life, and you go to work and that's nice. That reminds me of something from my childhood or whatever, you know. Add a bit of spice in life.
For dreaming, I think it's important at heart, just that we can help also people to break from their life for a second and then dream or then connect with a different word, a different language.
I think you're right, and also get people to think in a different way, you know. Even with political stuff, you know, tease them a little bit, provoke them a little bit to think and get out of this bubble that some people are in, or we all are in, you know. Awake some people with if you work.
Wake people up, or get them to think in a different way, or even to put a smile on their face, or you know, it's really something when you know art is reaching out to people. You know, to get a message saying, you know, your work has inspired me to start painting, or I don't know, if you can touch somebody in any way through a visual means, or through music, or through dance, or anything creative and expressive, I mean, that's an important and beautiful thing.
I don't know.
And you see this very instantly, because you have a lot of people seeing your work every day walking past. It's a bit different for people that work on canvas.
We work in public space.
And you can see it while you're working and also afterwards.
Exactly. We get a super direct confrontation with our public and a super direct reaction, of course. And it does. People can say anything they want to us, what they think about it. And we keep in mind, of course, that we work in public space.
Yeah.
Because you can make anything you want, but you have to keep this in mind, of course, or else you won't be asked to do these paintings. But yeah, we have some people over that are really stopping and putting their bike away or parking their car, coming to us and want to personally thank us for changing their neighborhood. You know, and say like, okay, these walls have been grey for so long, this is like a sad neighborhood, and all of a sudden we have these super large paintings, a whole row of them, and it's changed our neighborhood for good.
Yeah.
And we can say like, okay, we live in the building with this painting, we live in that building, and there are so many points that people are thanking us for the painting, which is so cool, and we just want to do a cool painting, and this is a side effect, but the effect is so big,
Yeah.
and we get their direction so, the reaction so direct,
Yeah, exactly.
which is it's amazing.
And you also done a lot of work in Africa with the kids and everything.
Yeah,
Been there
well,
a few times.
in April we went to Zimbabwe for 2 weeks, and Roy was there 3 times before.
Yeah.
He did like the first murals in Africa or in Zimbabwe, and he was almost a sort of a hero there. And it inspired artists there as well. And artists come to us and show their work, and they don't work with paint; they work with soil of different colors, and they show us paintings with soil. And we're like, "Whoa, this is amazing!" And we encourage them, like, "You have to do this. You should bring this to a museum and try to encourage them, give them materials, like try spray paint or try these markers." And we meet a lot of people in countries where they might not have the materials, and we can share some knowledge and show them how to work with it, and it feels really good as well. But it really changed the face of complete buildings and areas and neighborhoods. It's super cool. Sometimes we make people proud of their street, so it's an amazing feeling.
Wow.
It was never our objective, but the effect is super cool.
Yeah. We posted on social media and invited for questions. And one of the questions you got, Emma, is how does your process look like? Your process from idea and then till the end product.
Okay, so how do I go about my work? I instigate a scenario which is quite theatrical, in which to gain expression. Really, I'm very interested in expression. So if I've been using paint, but I've recently been using mud and petals and glitter and things like that. So I use a prop, and the model, the person that's commissioned the piece, I will allow the environment for them to explore the medium, how it feels with them. Never know how it's going to turn out, but I take hundreds of photographs in over a number of hours of playing around with this thing, whatever it may be, and then I look at the photographs and edit the photographs over a period of time and see which ones really speak to me, where I'm getting an honesty from the person, an expression, an honesty, a connection, something that really is a twinkle, something is exciting, and I think, oh God, I need to put that down. That shows that real essence of that person, or a real fun expression or sensual expression.
Do you usually go for the same kind of expression, or is it always a challenge for you to find?
It's different with everybody.
Yeah.
It's different with everybody. I never quite know, and that's the joy. If I have a preconceived idea, it just looks staged.
Yeah.
So, each painting's different.
It has to be natural.
Let it go that way. And then I make the painting, and again it evolves through the actual process of the painting. That's basically how I work.
And what about you, Christopher?
Well, the ideas I can't explain where they come from. I really can't. That's always the question you get. Where do you get your inspiration from?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know if you guys can ever answer that question.
That's a horrible question. Where do you get your inspiration? We said it's a
Really?
horrible question.
It is, because you don't really know. It just pops up.
I remember looking down on the workshop floor of my boyfriend's garage. His workshop, he restores muscle cars, if you like. It's great. And there was this incredible colour combination, textural thing going on. I was like, oh, wow, I want to use that kind of thing. And and more recently, there was a fire near the studios with this beautiful pluming black smoke, kind of
Is that the building?
hypnotic. Luckily, their building wasn't catching fire, but actually I was too busy filming the smoke, just going, oh my god. And I'm just setting up a photo shoot involving smoke. I can't wait.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but that's the joy.
Oh, nice.
So it comes from these random occurrences.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And then it plays on, and then it becomes like an itch, like, oh my god, I just need to get that down. I need to explore this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And through the exploration, something happens.
Yeah. Yeah, just by trial and error, really. Just digging deeper.
I don't want to control it too much. It takes the joy away.
Yeah.
What if you get some sort of inspiration or idea while you're already working on something?
That happens a lot to me, actually.
That happens a lot
one
because
idea can
you your brain moves faster than your hands sometimes.
Yeah.
So do you like sit down and quickly sketch it all and then go back to it later on, or do you leave what you're already working on and then start on something new?
It chatters in your head, and if it's really there, it stays with you, and it will keep going.
And you kind of debate, is this way better than the other way I was heading, you know, and
or is it another work?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you change into something completely new, and you can make double the money.
There's never enough hours in the day. This is another problem, isn't it? I don't know about you guys, but it's just like it's just go the whole time. There's too much to do, too much to paint, and certainly with my painting, they take a long time. So it is quite difficult to explore all these like synapses going on. You know, you have to kind of say, I'm doing this.
Doing that.
Because a lot of times, you know, happy mistakes, they usually say is a cool thing because you get somewhere new. But sometimes a happy mistake can also leave you with a completely different idea, outcome. You know, so sometimes it can be distracting in a way.
I usually take a snap of it and like put it in a folder, kind of thing, and then. You know, as a kind of visual reminder sometimes of an interesting accident or something. Yeah, that's good.
So do you have a dream project?
With McGregor, you took it.
Has he contacted you?
No,
Do you want a collaboration?
No, he's a choreographer. He's one of the most recognized choreographers in London. No, maybe in the world. I don't know.
Maybe in the world.
No, I've got a lot of ideas. So I feel that it's a long time that I'm ready for something else. Yeah. So I think that painting is it's just a part of what I'm doing. I feel that there's a lot about installation, performance in my work. So there's a lot of inspiring artists like McGregor.
Well, there's a lot of movement in your work already, so it would be a natural progression, but it would still be new work.
It's all about movement for me. Yeah. Movement is energy is matter, matter is life, and then for me, I don't like static things because in the movement, in the process, there's life, and then I'm exploring this. And then this choreographer, which I really like, the way he moved the people in the stage. And there's also a lot of quantum physics. It's a little bit complicated, but it's not stopping me from trying.
No.
You kind of have to set yourself these little goals to work towards, otherwise you could go off in a million different tangents, but you need to sort of almost like write yourself a little bit of a brief, like I'm working in this direction for a while, and then allow yourself to go off and explore that different tangent. I mean, the nature of the creative is to be, it's hungry, you know, you're curious, you're hungry, you just want to constantly explore and go into new territories, and it's scary and it's wonderful and it's exciting. And when you start plateauing out, you just get bored and it shows in your work, it just goes a bit flat. And we've all had those periods, and you know, you need to keep going in these different directions.
Yeah, the energy is super important, you know.
It's the nice thing of being an artist, that you can evolve in every direction you want. It's not the job, you have to do this. You can evolve in any way. You can, that's the nice thing.
Accept the transformation and accept that it's happening. And
you're changing yourself, so your art will change automatically.
Have you and Karski discussed any, dream project that you would like to do?
Dream project?
Like anything, oh my god, imagine beyond if we would do that one day.
I'm sure.
Well,
this is Dream Chapel.
Our objective would maybe be natural to you, or maybe not, is not painting any commissions and paint only what we want. And it started to happen more that people ask us for, okay, we want Karski Beyond. We don't want you to paint this. We don't want to make you the children's room with a Donald Duck or whatever.
We want
like
whatever
how
you...
it started like years and years ago. But we want a painting of you. And we proposed something, okay, we got some designs, and this is what we want to do. Yeah. And if we get a blessing of someone, it's okay, you're the artist, do it. So that's our dream job, and it's getting more and more real. So
so it's not necessarily a singular space or a singular collaboration, it's more just being able to work freely, creatively.
Exactly. So you can develop that more, and and getting paid for doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the ideal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, commissions, we love them because they bring in, you know, people are coming to you because they want your creative voice, but you still can't totally create what's in their head. It's still your thing.
Still have to please somebody.
There's always that little bit of thing going on. I mean, sometimes it's a great sort of synergy of two things coming together. You know, with a commission, you can also get some new things that you wouldn't discover on your own because you're trying to bring something else to the table with someone else's ideas as well, and that can be exciting. But I think really,
challenging.
It will enhance
it
your
is.
techniques, and you will learn a lot for sure of commissions.
Yeah.
But I've been painting for 20 years out of passion. It only cost me money, it only cost me time. I risked everything, freedom, my life, just for painting. So to get paid for it, it's crazy, of course, to me.
Yeah. What about you, Christopher?
Well, actually, I want to also try to move into that mural thing because I think the work I do would fit really well in those scenarios. So
You want to go bigger.
I want to go bigger.
Yeah.
I really do,
We all want to go
is
bigger.
So
More space.
if you're gonna paint here, he's gonna paint here in
He's gonna
Stavanger,
paint,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna come out and check it out if I can.
come along.
And learn some stuff. Okay.
On that note, I think we're gonna go for a break, have half an hour, and drink some wine and chat. And we're gonna stop our live streaming, and then we're gonna go back live streaming in 30 minutes after the break. All right.